You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Kind of an overcast Sunday afternoon here in Kansas City, and it's time for baseball at Kauffman Stadium. First there's little baseball at the Little K, but they want to move up and play in the big ballpark right across the parking lot. That's right, that's where there will be a game as Hyundai presents the Sunday Game of the Week. Today it's the New York Yankees against the Kansas City Royals in Game 3 of a 4-game set from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Well, last night, here at the K, they lost 8-4, the Yankees did, and that broke a mini 2-game winning streak. In fact, they've been struggling overall of late, having lost 6 of their last 9. The offense has been a little bit spotty. We'll talk about that as we move along. They'll try to get back on the winning ways with Kuroda on the mound. Let's take a look at the pitching matchup in this one. It's brought to you by Chevrolet. James Shields will get the start for the Royals, 6-3, 3.68. And for the Yankees, it's Kuroda, 4-3, 4.27. And David, he's coming off what was probably his best start of the year.
Yes, it's very encouraging to see Kuroda throw the ball this well, similar to the way he did last year. And the common denominator is everything's down. The sliders and the splitters from the knees to the ankles, and he gets a lot of ground balls, double plays, working ahead. And you see that slider down and away, that's the pitch that's really gotten a lot better. And of course that fastball in. Kuroda much better in his last outing. Girardi lets him know right away. That's the kind of pitcher the Yankees are going to need the rest of the way. Kuroda, a big part of that rotation.
So far on the road this year, 1-1, 3.34 with 5 walks, 21 strikeouts in 29 and 2/3 innings. Now his mound opponent is going to be James Shields. Big game James is what he's called, but of late he's struggling. He brings a nice arsenal to the mound, though.
Well, he really does, and obviously in his free agent year as well, decisions are going to have to be made with James Shields. The Royals stay in it. He's a big game pitcher. He really knows what he's doing. The Yankees are very familiar with him. This is going to be his 29th career start against the Yankees. And when he's going well, he can paint that fastball and throw that changeup with the best of them.
You know what? It's strange, though. He doesn't have great numbers against the Yankees. 8-15, 4.34. You see the rest of the numbers. That's not dominating for a guy who can be a dominating pitcher. Well, Kuroda's going to need some runs. That's obvious. And the Yankees have not been tattooing the baseball at all. Yesterday, they got 4 runs. That's like an outburst. But when we get back, Meredith Marakovitz will talk to Joe Girardi about the Yankee offense. That's next, right here on Yes.
just a little bit. Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Morakovitz. Jacoby Ellsbury has really been swinging a hot bat lately. He has a 12-game hit streak going where he's hitting .396 over that span. But the Yankees offense as a whole has really struggled in the month of June. Let's take a look at this afternoon's cold hard facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. They are just 2-5 in the month of June, a .219 batting average, averaging less than 3 runs per game. They've only hit 3 homers, and that on-base percentage, really nothing to brag about there. Now, I caught up with manager Joe Girardi earlier today to ask him if he saw any signs that things were going to change.
We're getting some big 2-out hits, which I like, and you look at the big hit that Carlos had and then Solo had. You look at the big hit that Brian McCann had the other night, and those 2-out hits can go a long ways. Why do you think they haven't had the consistency you probably would need them to have? You know, it's hard to say. I think guys get frustrated. I think we've run into some good pitching. You know, it's not early in the year, but sometimes guys take a while to get going, and hopefully this turns it. You feel like your team is yet to really run on all cylinders. It seems like when you get the pitching, you don't have the hitting, or vice versa. Yeah, I think that's probably fair to say, and we got to put it together because we got to put a good streak here. If the offense is going to get going this afternoon, they're going to do it without Mark Teixeira. He is out of the lineup. Joe Girardi saying just a day off for Tex. Michael Kay and David Cohn coming up next with lineup First Pitch Baseball right here on Yes.
By Buick. Visit TriStateBuick.com for great lease offers. By Blimpie, get the most for your money with Blimpie $5 deals. Choose from 4 of your Blimpie favorites. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Honda, start something special with a great deal on a Honda. A lot of kids in the ballpark today. A hot and a humid Sunday afternoon as we get ready for baseball game 3 of this 4-game set. The Royals have already taken the field, waiting for James Shields to get to the mound to begin his warm-up. So why don't we take a look at the Yankees starting lineup, which is presented, as always, by our good friends at Lexus. Brett Gardner's in left field. He'll lead off. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, bats second. Batting third, playing center field, Jacoby Ellsbury. Carlos Beltran, the DH, will clean up. Batting fifth and catching, Brian McCann. Dan Hervis-Solarde, the third baseman, will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing right field, Ichiro Suzuki. Brian Roberts, the second baseman, bats eighth. Batting ninth and playing first base, Kelly Johnson. Nothing wrong with Mark Teixeira, simply a maintenance day. Joe Girardi simply trying to be a little bit proactive, and he's giving Teixeira the day off.
Recognizable figure for Yankee fans. Yeah, that's James Shields, now playing for the Royals, and at least for the time being, he's a free agent this year. And you see on the year, pretty decent numbers, although as Michael referred to earlier in our pregame show, the last three starts he's kind of struggled a little bit, but always had good control. Only 19 walks against 70 strikeouts. And go ahead and give you the Tri-Honda scouting report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And James Shields, as we said, this will be his 29th career start against the Yankees, the familiar foe. Only 8-15 career record against the Yankees, and a workhorse always his whole career. He's a guy who looks to go 9. He's averaged 6.7 innings throughout his career, and during that time, the league average has only been about 5.9. And stay or go, I mean, that's going to be the ultimate question for the Royals. They think they can stay in this race, but around the trade deadline, this guy's going to be wanted by a lot of teams because he's battle tested, and he's a guy who has pitched well in the postseason.
Now let's check out the defense behind him. The Royals defense is presented by Geico. In the outfield, Gordon, Kane, and Aoki. That's left to right. Infield, Moustakas, Escobar, Infante, and Hosmer. That's third to first. Salvador Perez with a big home run in yesterday's game. He'll be behind the plate. James Shields is on the mound. Crowd still filing into Kauffman Stadium on the outskirts of downtown Kansas City. Yankees baseball is available in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Infinity. Yesterday's game, a little bit of a disappointment for the Yankees. They actually did come back from a 3-0 deficit to tie the score at 3, David, and then every pitcher wants to put up a 0 the next inning, and David Phelps wasn't able to do that.
No, he wasn't, and he was pretty hard on himself after the game in terms of two walks in a row that kind of set up that big inning after the Royals kind of got out in front early, and then the Yankees came back, tied it up 3-3, and that's a hard one to swallow as a starting pitcher, Michael, when you go right back out after your team scores, obviously, and then you give it right back up.
He might have been a little too hard on himself because he said he was a horrible teammate. That's not what a pitcher's supposed to do, and Joe Girardi said he's a good teammate, and he just made some mistakes, but at least he's taking it to heart that the Yankees need good pitching performance.
Yeah, a little overly dramatic with the self-criticism, but you gotta be accountable, and I certainly applaud Phelps for that.
All right, so the Yankees try to get back on the winning track today. The Royals are trying to get something going as well. Yankees are 31-30. The Royals are 30-32. Brett Gardner will start it off for the Yankees. James Shields awaits Brett Gardner, who's doing some housekeeping in the left-handed batter's box. A couple of practice swings, which he always does. And now he's ready. And so is Shields. And let's do it here in KC. The first pitch is outside, and we're underway. Mike DeMuro is the home plate umpire. Mike Estabrook at first. The crew chief, Bob Davidson, at second. Jerry Lane over at third. Line drive, a base hit to right field past a diving Hosmer. And the Yankees start off with a leadoff single by Gardner.
A familiar sign from Brett Gardner, looking inside, really trying to turn on those inside pitches much more. As you see Jeter going to come up and get a nice hand from this Royals crowd.
Now you could steal, but it's going to be difficult against Perez. He's thrown out 10 base stealers so far this year. He's caught 32.1% of all attempted base stealers. Not exactly like the A's, where it almost seemed like a sure thing to run on them. Jeter shows bunt, takes outside. Shields was the big play for the Royals. They made that big deal with Tampa Bay Rays. Rays knew they would not be able to keep Shields when he became a free agent, so they were proactive. Got Will Myers in the deal, also Jake Odorizzi, who has been a contributor for them as well. Will Myers won the Rookie of the Year. And the Royals got James Shields for essentially 2 years. This is the second year. Now the question they have to make or answer, are they in it right around the trade deadline? And if they're not, do they get rid of James Shields? Because in all likelihood, David, they're not going to be able to sign him.
Probably not. He's going to command probably more than they want to spend. And Shields from the West Coast. A lot of rumors that maybe he would like to seek to go back out west when he's a free agent.
And that's why there's some pressure on the Royals to win this year. And they think they're right in the middle of it. It's all bunched together in the AL Central. Nobody's running away from anybody. The 2-0. There's a strike. It looked like the Tigers might jump out and hide, but they've come back to the pack. Now you got the Twins making a deal. They signed Kendrys Morales to a one-year contract, so they think they have a run in them.
Yeah, kind of a surprising move from the Twins, but when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. It's not a long-term commitment. It's a one-year deal. They get some extra offense to try to turn the corner.
Nice play by Hosmer to keep that from going into foul territory. And it shows you the difference in expectations. I was talking with Ned Yost, the manager of the Royals, and he said, we're in good shape right now. So they're close to last place, and they're 5 games out, but they just want to be in striking distance. He said, if we can get 5 games over by the All-Star break, we'll be in great shape. Their pitching's been okay. Their bullpen's outstanding, but they have not been able to hit. And the Yankees can understand that as well. The 2-1 to Jeter, foul back, 2-2.
Kind of similar teams if you think about it in terms of production so far this year. Pretty solid pitching from the Yankees and a good bullpen, and the same from the Royals.
There's always pressure on Girardi, but there's a lot of pressure on Ned Yost. He's had a long run here. The 2-2. Ground ball in the hole. Stopped there by a diving Escobar. Throw to first. Got him. What a play by Alcides Escobar as Gardner advances to second. David, I thought he had no shot.
Incredible. I mean, it almost as if he took a look at second and knew he couldn't get Gardner. But just the range to get to this ball. That was a base hit the whole way from your knees to get enough on that to get out Jeter. Just an incredible play, an incredible arm strength from your knees. Tremendous range. And look how quickly he gets rid of that ball. And easily gets Jeter.
Wow. Shields can't believe it. He almost has a amused grin on his face. He's probably looking at first and second, nobody out. Here's Ellsbury, carries a 12-game hitting streak into this game. Foul back.
Jeter's always been able to get down the line really well for a right-handed batter, and obviously he's not the runner he once was, but I think you got to give Escobar a lot of credit there for that particular play.
What a pick-me-up for a pitcher that must be. The 0-1. 1-1. During his 12-game hitting streak, Ellsbury 19 for 48. So he's been on fire.
Looks much more aggressive in the box too. We've seen him jump on early pitches, early in the count.
Count 1-2. .396, and that's bumped his average up to 288. Remember, he had gotten off to a great start, then really settled into a slump, but now has picked it back up.
Yeah, that was really rapid reinflation of his stats. Michael said early in the year, just looked like a game breaker kind of player, and then the slump, and now over 12 games, right back to where he was at the beginning of the season.
The 2-2. Right back to Shields. He looks back. Gardner flips high, but Hosmer goes up and gets it for the second out.
Almost a little bit too cool for school here. And luckily, the Hosmer's a tall guy and can get up a little bit. He had plenty of time.
Hosmer, Perez, and Gordon all won Gold Gloves for the Royals last year, so they can flash the leather. 1-0 to Beltran outside. Beltran had a big hit yesterday. Double drove in a run right next to the warning track in left field, so that was his first hit since coming up the DL. Beltran had an interesting comment after the game yesterday. He said, you know what? I still have pain in my elbow. He said, but it's manageable. And, Joe Girardi was asked about it before the game. He said, listen, I understand and I'm going to monitor it. He said, but nobody feels great in the middle of a season. He said, you have to push through these things. And he wasn't just talking directly about Beltran. He said, sometimes you can't play, but sometimes you're hurting, but you can play.
Yeah, the difference between pain and injury, and for all athletes, learning that difference. Very difficult task.
3-1. Check swing. So Beltran walks. And that is going to pass the baton to Brian McCann. And let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. We'll see if he held up. It was very close. Jerry Lane said he did hold up. So here's the game time weather. 75 degrees, 66% humidity, not much wind. It's cloudy. Precipitation is unlikely today. Rained a little yesterday and also supposed to rain tomorrow.
A little daring forecast there. Precipitation unlikely.
Like that.
Very positive.
It's the optimist forecast. Gardner's at second. Beltran's at first. Just underway here at Kauffman Stadium. McCann got a big hit. Bases loaded double in the first game of the series, which the Yankees won 4-2. Way outside, 2-0. There's some concern with Shields because he's not the pitcher in 3 starts that would give up 15 runs and 18 in the third inning. So he's not as sharp. Yost said against St. Louis, didn't know where the ball was going. Against Toronto, he said, I thought he had great stuff, but he made a couple of mistakes to home run hitters. He said, so the one in St. Louis, you wonder, but you know, pitchers have those sorts of games. There's a strike.
Well, the one thing that shows up in the numbers of Shields in terms of his repertoire is that changeup's always been his best finish pitch, and he's really gotten burned on it. Left it up in the zone, especially recently, and he's throwing it less, too. So he's lost a little confidence in his bread and butter changeup.
2-1. Fouled straight back, 2-2. McCann just missed that fastball right back. Fly ball, shallow left center. Lorenzo Cain is there. He'll put it away for the final out of the inning. No runs a hit. 2 men left. Yankees nothing, and the Royals coming back. And they will lead off their right fielder, Nori Aoki. Omar Infante is at second base, and he'll bat second. Batting third, playing first base, Eric Hosmer. Billy Butler, the DH, will clean up. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Alex Gordon. Salvador Perez is going to catch. He'll bat sixth. The number 7 hitter is the center fielder, Lorenzo Cain. Mike Moustakas, the third baseman, bats eighth. And batting ninth, they're playing shortstop, Alcides Escobar.
Going to look at beautiful Royal Stadium here. The recently renovated Royal Stadium over the last couple of years. And Hiroki Kuroda is going to pitch in the daytime here. And see, on the seasons, those numbers are progressively getting better. Just 12 walks. It's an excellent ratio against 71 and 2/3 innings. Go ahead and give you the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And right there, Daydreamer. I mean, this is no small sample size. Over his last 21 day starts, he's 13-3 with a 2.43 ERA. So there is something to the numbers. And strike first, well, when the leadoff batter gets on against Kuroda this year, in 17 to 22 innings, they have scored. That's a key stat for him. Early, get that leadoff hitter out, and even Steven on his career, if he wins today, he will be 73-73 for a career record, which is a little deceiving because, as you know, Michael, I talk about run support and a lot of that sort of thing, and I'll get to it a little later, but Kuroda's career record should be much better.
Here's Aoki with 6 bunt hits, 13 infield hits this year. He almost falls down swinging at the first pitch. Kind of startling that he'd be a 500 pitcher with his stuff, and he's pitched for 2 pretty good teams.
2 good teams, and especially the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, are really good pitchers, ballpark.
But the more you talk to sabermetricians, they are not high on wins and losses. They don't think that that is an indicator at all of how a pitcher pitches. And I have to agree, but I also believe there's a certain art to winning, too.
No doubt about it. When you get a lead and how you pitch late in the games.
Count 2-1.
I think we saw that yesterday with David Phelps. You know, you finally get back in the game 3-3, and then he was so hard on himself by the way he pitched after he got back in the game. And there is an art to that part of it, Michael. You're right.
The 2-1. Line drive foul.
You know, the Elias Bureau gives us a pretty interesting stat with regard to Kuroda and that career record. And Hiroki Kuroda's made 115 quality starts in his career. Quality starts means 6 innings pitched or 3 earned runs or less. He's lost 27 of those games. That's the only Jeremy Guthrie of the Royals has lost more of those type of starts in the major leagues. All the starting pitcher can do is put your team in a position to win. Your defensive support, your offensive support is really out of your control.
And a walk to start off the game. Let's check out the Yankee defense presented by Geico. In the outfield, it's Gardner, Ellsbury, and Ichiro left to right. In the infield, we'll look at it third to first. Solarte, Jeter, Robertson, Johnson, McCann behind the plate, and we told you about Kuroda on the mound. Well, here's Omar Infante, who's having a terrible homestand for the Royals. He's hitless in 18 at-bats. He's their big free agent signee off the free agent list in the offseason, hitting just .228. Fouled away.
Well, the timing was right for Infante, as far as buying high. You know, you talk about selling low or buying low. Infante, pretty much a career year last year, and hit the free agent market at the right time and had a little bit of a bidding war. And rumors were the Yankees were in on that bidding as well before they signed Brian Roberts. But the Royals won out, and they got him for 3 years.
I think his market surprised a lot of people, David.
I think middle infielders in general, if you think about Johnny Peralta, the shortstop's deal as well that he got and been underperforming. And you look at somebody like Solarte off the scrap heap, who's surprised everybody. So in my opinion, I think the middle infielder market from last year was a little bit overvalued, and there's a little bit of buyer's remorse going around the league.
Well, the Royals got him because they gave him that extra year, David. They gave him a 4-year deal for $40 million. And reports say the Yankees offer was 3 years, 24. That one is chopped to third. Solarte hesitated, but goes to second to get the force.
Well, good read from Solarte. A little bit of a hesitation and then says, yes, I got a shot. Makes a good throw to Roberts, cuts down the leadoff runner. And that's just all instinct from a middle infielder. Roberts gets there and covers it, and of course, Solarte playing third base. You've got plenty of time to read that.
Here's Eric Hosmer, 2 for 18 in this series. Check that in this homestand for the Royals. Series is 3 games old. Count 1-0.
Hit a booming home run yesterday to show the kind of power that he has, which has kind of been confusing to the Royals fans because they see this guy as a potential 20 to 30 home run guy. And although he's got a lot of doubles this year so far, that was the first blast that he's probably hit all year long. This is what the Royals fans have come to expect from Hosmer. That kind of swing, that kind of power. He's got it in him. Royals are waiting to see it come out.
Last year, 302, 17, and 79. 2012 was an off-year average-wise for him. He's at 259 right now.
One of those guys that kind of, works on his mechanics a lot, really tinkering in the batter's box. When he gets his balance and his legs under him, he really drives the ball. I think for pitchers and hitters, it's really a ground-up sport, using your balance and the ground as leverage to be able to speed up your hands. Everybody wants to talk about mechanics, pitchers with their hands and their delivery, and hitters the same thing, where their swing is, the upper body part of the swing. Really, it starts from the ground up. If you've got good balance and good leverage, either pitching or hitting, that's how you get bat speed, or that's how you get arm speed.
Hit sharply to second. This should be 2. There's 1. And there's 2. Hosmer hit it right on the screws, but right at Brian Roberts. Start a 4-6-3 double play. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We played 1. There's no score on yes. The official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. Here's how we started it. In retrospect, do you think the Shields-Myers trade was a good decision for KC? Why or why not? Here's one of the replies that we got. It's from Jay Malk. Yes, the Royals want to win now, and Shields is an ace. Even if he leaves via free agency or trade, they will get prospects and a draft pick. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius. Keep the conversation going. My answer to that, David, would be it's worth it even if they make the playoffs. But if they don't make the playoffs and you gave up a player like Will Myers, I'm not quite sure.
Will Myers is so talented, even though he's injured now and going to miss some time. But I really thought the key to that trade was Wade Davis. They really projected him to be number 2 in their rotation. And Wade Davis couldn't cut it as a starter, but he is a dominant reliever, similar to a lot of guys we've seen around the league.
Shields will deal to Solarte, leading off the second, and there's a strike to the Yankee third baseman. 294, 6 home runs, 28 ribbies, 11 for his last 29. When you think how close it came to Solarte not making the team, it came down to the very last day, last hour of spring training before the Yankees departed. And then they decided to keep him. Where would they be without his 294, 6 homers, and 28 ribbies?
Well, he's become the everyday guy, and Kelly Johnson now has become the utility guy, and it was supposed to be the other way around.
Line drive, a base hit to center field. So Solarte leads off the inning with a single. That's going to bring up Ichiro.
I was talking in between innings, Michael, with a producer and director today, Troy Benjamin, John Moore, about the Royals' powder blue uniforms here, kind of the throwback, at least the uniform tops. Almost visions of the 70s.
That gets by Perez, and Solarte will move to second. Yeah, they remind me of Brett and Mayberry and Wilson.
Kind of got some mixed reviews from the truck today on the powder blues. They were different, and certainly the playoff series of the 70s and the Royals and the Yankees locking horns about 4 out of 5 years in the late 70s and 1980. Boy, the powder blues in Yankee Stadium.
Ichiro bunts foul.
Amos Otis used to play center field here, former Met. Not one of the Mets' better trades, but a great player here. He used to have two-tone shoes. Some old Adidas and Brooks shoes that were two-tone that would match the powder blue. Back when you had shoe polish. These guys used to use shoe polish to polish their shoes.
There's a line drive to left field, a base hit for Ichiro. Solarte will stop at third as Gordon gets the ball in.
There you go. Full powder blues, up and down.
You just made Met fans cringe, though. They traded Amos Otis for Joe Foy.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Came back to haunt you.
So the Yankees are set up here in the second. First and second, nobody out, and Brian Roberts at the plate. But the Mets got back at the Royals. They got a young stud pitcher named David Cohn for Ed Hearn. That was a good deal. Turnabout is fair play.
Yes, they got him back. Paid him back all those years later.
Snap throw to third. Perez likes to show his arm off, but diving back is Solarte.
Solarte well prepared for this. As you know, Perez can do this at any moment. Velarde was ready for it. Talking to a couple former Yankee players that are now coaches for the Royals. Dave Island, the pitching coach, and Del Swaim, the hitting coach, and talking about how the Royals, they don't really use the analytics as much. They have an analytical guy. They don't really do the shifts like is so popular now as much, although they do shift on Teixeira. But both Del Swaim and Dave Island said they don't really get a lot of input from the front office as far as what to do or what the lineups are, how to construct your lineup, how to play defensive shifts. They just kind of let the baseball guys take care of things. Certainly a rarity in today's game.
So now Roberts walks, the bases are loaded, nobody out. And that's going to bring up Kelly Johnson.
Familiar face for the Yankee fans is former Yankee player and pitching coach Dave Island. Done a good job here with this pitching staff. They really like him.
Velarde's at third, Ichiro's at second, and Brian Roberts is at first. Now it's time for the Yankees to cash in here. Situation like this, they've got to make hay. No score, top of the second. One and 0. He has thrown ball 1 to 7 of the 9 Yankee hitters. That's not a recipe for success. Look at Kelly Johnson with the bases loaded, 339 with 4 grand slams.
Not your typical 9-hole hitter.
High fly ball left field and out of play. Well, the Yankees are waiting for him to display some of that power. You know, they thought that Kelly Johnson would be able to hit some home runs in the seats in right field of Yankee Stadium, and he has not done that job. Now, maybe the truncated playing time has set him back, but your job is what it is, and you have to adapt to it. One. Foul back, 95 miles an hour.
The Royals defensively here kind of pinching at the corners, third base and first base playing in, and shortstop and second base a double play depth. So up the middle they'll concede the run, but on the corners they're looking to cut it down at home with the bases loaded.
Swing and a miss. There's that change that he hasn't been throwing much, and he gets Johnson swinging.
Indeed, you see the low target from Perez. And even though it's up a little bit, I think the speed kind of fooled Johnson more than the quality of that particular pitch. Pretty good pitch to hit, but Johnson reads fastball.
Here's Brett Gardner. He opened the game with a single to right field. So the Yankees threatened in the first and second, didn't score. Now bases loaded here with 1 out. There's a strike. Also good numbers with the bases loaded. 358. 2 grand slams. They throw to third, but Velarde was alert and got back.
James Shields, one of the only pitchers that will really feature this kind of play. Almost like a left-hander with a move to first. Tries a little deception there on a predetermined play. I think James Shields works on those kind of pickoffs just as much as anybody in the big leagues. Takes a lot of pride in pickoffs to first and third.
Check swing. And they check with Jerry Lane. He said, nope, didn't go. Count 2-2. .42 pitches so far just in the second inning. Grounded to first, it stays down, they throw home, they get the force. Nice play by Hosmer, good throw.
Well, it really was. You know, Hosmer moved back, so he was really looking more double play depth here by his position. As you see, he's playing back, but that's just his read. You're not going to double up Gardner running, so you might as well cut down the runner at home. Optional play for Hosmer. Generally looking to go second to first. Makes the right call to cut down Solarde.
So now one batter away from getting out of this jam. And here's Derek Jeter. Robbed of a base hit. Beautiful play in the hole by Alcides Escobar in the first. Oh and 1.
This is one of those at bats, Michael, like a pitcher on the mound after an infielder makes an error. You want to pick him up. Jeter got a chance to pick up the last two teammates who didn't get the job done with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Oh and 2.
On the other hand, Shields rearing back, throwing some of his best fastballs, 95 miles an hour, challenging Jeter in.
The 0-2. 1 and 2.
You know, for hitters, it's runners in scoring position with 2 outs. What's your batting average? For pitchers, the same thing. There's 3 runners out there. Left on base percentage for pitchers is the same stat for hitters with runners in scoring position. Trying to strand 3 runners here is Shields.
Foul back. Well, he is really rearing back to try to get out of this. Closing in on 50 pitches in 2 innings.
Sometimes you pitch this inning like it were the 9th inning because it could be a backbreaker for your team. Shields almost doing a Houdini act with nobody out and the bases loaded. One pitch away from getting out of this, but also Jeter could just break his back if he gets a big hit right here.
This will be the 27th pitch of the inning. And he goes around, Jeter strikes out, and Shields, bases loaded, nobody out, and he does not allow a run. Yankees, no runs, 2 hits, and the bases are left loaded. Crowd likes it. Fired medicine. Sean Kelly last night at Trenton, 2/3 of an inning through 19 pitches. He's scheduled to pitch tomorrow for AAA. And nothing went wrong yesterday, but Joe Girardi said, listen, he missed a month. You can't bring him up that quickly, so he might meet the Yankees on the West Coast if everything goes well tomorrow in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. Also, you see the Rangers, Mitch Moreland is out for maybe 3 months. I mean, they've got to cry uncle. And that they're doing some job keeping that team in the American League West. I meant the Texas Rangers, not the New York Rangers, who suffered a tough double overtime loss yesterday. They're down 0-2 in the Stanley Cup final. And there's a strike to Billy Butler.
Yeah, it's hard not to have the New York Rangers on your mind right now.
David, what does that do to a team to see bases loaded, nobody out, and then your pitcher stops them from scoring? That's got to be a pick-me-up for the offense.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's one of those key parts early in the game that can make or break the game. It really can. Sometimes games are won and lost in the first, second, and third innings. And certainly a lot of time left, but
chopped over the mound. Roberts is there. 1 away.
That's a moment in the game you're going to look to later in this game, depending on what the score is.
And also, David, I mean, it's a broken record, but that's been the Yankee season. I mean, they've not been able to get the big hit consistently enough to put a lot of runs on the board and take some pressure off of their pitchers. Seems like the pitchers are always in one-run games.
It's not as it was scripted, that's for sure. I mean, you really tended to worry about the Yankee pitching, especially with the injuries, all the injuries to the rotation. 3 starters going down. The rookies have done a good job. The bullpen is exceptional.
Alex Gordon hits one deep to right, but foul.
I think there's any doubt, Michael, that the Yankee brass feels like this offense has got a lot more to give, and they will. Joe Girardi said that repeatedly. The guys are swinging the bat well. It's not working for us right now. So they all believe they're capable of much more. Certainly getting Beltran back in the middle of the order will help. Although he's probably going to have to be the DH because of that elbow injury. Probably won't be able to throw a baseball for a while. So that will inhibit Joe Girardi and his flexibility. If Beltran has to DH, that will limit the rotation of that particular spot in the order.
Gordon has a 6-game hitting streak, 8 for 17 during the streak, 291 overall. Boy, Gordon's another guy. You see these guys all the time. You can't give up on young players quickly. He was a bomb at third base. He was going to be the next George Brett. Didn't work out. And then out of desperation, they put him in left. He found himself. He became a Gold Glove outfielder and a very, very good player. And they were that close to just giving up on him.
Yeah, and that's kind of the lesson they have now with Mike Moustakas at third base in a similar position. So he was sent down earlier this year for a couple of weeks, and then Valencia got hurt, so he got called back up.
Swing and a miss. Gordon down on strikes, 2 away. Hey, Wednesday, June 18th, the Emmy-winning Yankeeography series is back with an all-new episode as we get the inside story of Ron Guidry's dominant performance in 1978 when he struck out 18 batters in one game. Don't miss a new Moments of Glory Wednesday night, June 18th, only on Yankee Stadium. And what I remember about that game is that the rhythmic clapping that you hear at Yankee Stadium whenever a pitcher gets 2 strikes, urging the pitcher on for strikeout, it started that day as he kept ringing up strikeouts. And it has continued to this day. Pretty neat. Here's Perez, pitches high.
You know, I mentioned an athletic delivery, whether you're a hitter or you're a pitcher, from the ground up, using your legs. I don't think I've ever seen anybody use his legs more than Ron Guidry did, particularly in that game.
It's almost a shame that he got hurt toward the end, and they really didn't have the medical science to treat what he had in his shoulder. But if he had pitched longer, I think he might have had a Hall of Fame career. I mean, you look at his numbers, they're extraordinary. What a great pitcher.
Yes, a true dominant #1 pitcher. You know, not a really big guy either. Right. 5'10", maybe, 170 pounds. Really pushed off the rubber, had a long stride, really a dynamic delivery.
That one is looped into right center field. It's a base hit for Perez. Well, David, they have him listed at 161. That's a little man generating a lot of power.
A lot of power with his legs. That's how he threw the ball in the mid-90s in that razor blade slider that he threw and got all those strikeouts with.
Well, what a difference a day makes. Perez bloops a little single in the right center, and yesterday he really applied the crushing blow to David Phelps, and sometimes you could make a good pitch and a guy could really put a good swing on it. That's what Perez did. That was a crusher yesterday.
That really was, and I know Phelps was trying to go inside with a 2-seam fastball, but even though it was down a little bit, it kind of sat on the plate just enough for Perez to get to it. So you could say it was a good pitch. It wasn't good enough because somebody hit it in the bullpen. So good pitches don't get hit in the bullpen.
Here's Lorenzo Cain. That one is driven out to right center field. On the run is Ellsbury. He slides. He can't make the play. It's past him. Backing up is Ichiro. He'll get the ball in. Rounding third and heading home is Perez. He'll make it. It's an RBI double for Cain. And the Royals lead 1-0.
See Kuroda looking up at the scoreboard and the replay, and Lorenzo Cain is an athlete. He's providing some excitement here playing center field. He's got some power. He's got some speed, and I thought Ellsbury almost was going to get to this ball. He had to cover a lot of ground to get there. But we've seen Ellsbury do that this year on several plays and just not quite there. And Ichiro backing up holds Cain to a double, but it's an RBI double.
That one is driven into left center field. Another long run for Ellsbury. Can't make the play. Kane will score. It's an RBI single for Moustakas. And it's 2-0 Royals.
Well, I guess you got to believe that Moustakas is due for some luck, because he has really struggled this year and doesn't hit this ball all that well, but hits it in the right spot, as Ellsbury's had to cover ground to the right and the left.
So it all starts with a blooper by Perez. A blooper, a double, and a single, and it's 2-0 Royals. Right after the Yankees had bases loaded, nobody out and don't score. Here's Escobar. Swing and a miss.
You can almost hear the Royals crowd chanting Moose after that hit. He has struggled so much this year. We really need him to be the answer at third base. Came in hitting 150, I think, around the 150 mark.
And you know what's amazing, David? With that hit, that's his 20th ribby. Coming in hitting, 148, and he has 20 ribbies, so he's doing some damage. And he was sent down too.
That may be the biggest decision the Royals have, is sticking with him at third base or trying to find a replacement.
Tapped, left side. Solarte has no play. As Moustakas moves to second.
Another good pitch from Kuroda out off the plate. Produces weak contact. Maybe the third such hit this inning that Kuroda, the pitcher, produces weak contact and gives up a hit. As Solarte cuts it off, but with the speed of Escobar, no chance.
First and second, still 2 outs. Here's Nori Aoki.
Always a real proud moment for Japan. The hitters from Japan and the pitchers from Japan. You can bet there's some interest in this particular at bat.
Ground ball to Jeter. He goes to the bag, gets the force, and that will do it. 2 runs on 4 hits and 2 men left. We go to the third, 2-0 Royals. hottest collectibles of the season. It's Mark Teixeira bobblehead night, the first one in the 2014 collectible series presented by AT&T. For the first 18,000 guests in attendance. Now, for tickets, you have to log on to Yankees.com. You can visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. There's little Mark Teixeira. He's watching the game from the bench today, not in the starting lineup. Obviously available a pinch hit, just a maintenance day off from Joe Girardi. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury, and he lines one to the left center field. It's a base hit. It gives him a 13-game hitting streak. It splits the outfielders, cut off there by Kane, as Ellsbury has a double to start the third.
Ellsbury always ready to swing the bat. First pitch hacking, bought him a fastball. Almost bought him a turned ankle there as he came around the bag. Nice recovery. Looked like he was going to go down. See, first pitch, fastball all over it. Drilled into the gap in left center.
Yankees have had the leadoff man on all 3 innings. Here's Beltran, pitches high.
Ellsbury looked like that Teixeira bobblehead going around first right there.
Beltran walked in the first inning. His number 36 this year is a return to his days with the Royals, where he wore number 36. Ground ball right side. Diving stop by Hosmer. Gets up and flips to Shields for the out as Ellsbury moves to third. Well, you can see why Hosmer won the Gold Glove.
Well, no doubt about it. Rangy, playing deep. Going to cover that play, and Infante probably had it covered too, and Shields is an excellent fielding first baseman. Is there waiting for the throw.
No rush at all there, David. He got up, gathered himself, and knew exactly who was running and threw a strike to Shields. So the Yankees can get a run here with a ground ball as the Royals play the infield back, and no shift for McCann. Yankees 1 for 7, and it's just the third inning with runners in scoring position. One and one.
This is one of those adjustments that you've talked about, Michael. In certain situations, you just don't want to give up an easy run the other way with a big shift to the right.
A nasty pitch right there, 1-2.
We've seen McCann take shots and even trying to bunt to the left side, so the scouting report has gotten around. Now he's in the hole. 2 strikes, got to protect. After that triple that McCann got in the first game, that was such a big hit and cleared the bases. He talked a lot about recognizing pitches. How you take those pitches in the dirt is a key for him. 2 in a row right there. And just from a pitching standpoint, Michael, when I see a hitter take pitches like that where he was under control, he didn't even offer at him, that means he's seeing that off-speed pitch pretty well.
And again, the Yankees don't get somebody in from third as McCann goes down on strikes.
Shields 3 in a row off speed. Finally got McCann to chase. Not going to give in with first base open there to McCann.
Well, now Solarte could pick up the team. He singled the center in the second. Ellsbury at third with 2 outs. We're in the third, 2-0 Royals.
Pretty good number with 8 RBIs from Solarte in his amazing season so far. In his 2 seasons with the Royals, James Shields, he hasn't really pitched that well here at home. A 4.29 ERA and 20 starts here at Kauffman Stadium, and he's 14-4 with a 2.55 ERA on the road. A little bit unusual because this is perceived as a pretty good pitcher's ballpark here.
Solarte taking a long time, like he's shaking something from his leg not feeling well, but he's back in the box. The 1-2. Strike 3. Solarte down looking. He thought the ball was way inside. And he tells Mike DeMuro as much. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. You decide. It looked like it was inside. We go to the bottom of the third. 2-0 Royals. That you can catch every game on Yes. The first stop is Seattle on Tuesday as the Bombers begin a 3-game set with the Mariners. Then Friday night, the Yankees are in Oakland for a weekend series with the best in the West. Stay up late for all the action only on Yes. Well, the inside pitch, the umpire thought got the inside corner. Solarte didn't think so, but DeMuro is the last word, and the Yankees miss another opportunity. What do you think about this pitch, David?
Well, it's got a little run on it. It's borderline. It's trying to run back. I think, technically speaking, it'll show up on the radar tracking system as being a little bit inside. But it does have the illusion of a little two-seam movement coming back. Perez does a good job of presenting it as a strike as well.
Infante will start it off here, and he takes a strike, count 0-1. He's 0 for his last 19. Reached on a fielder's choice to third in the first. Tries to bunt, bunts foul. Audi A3 scoreboard, 2-0 Royals as the Yankees are 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position this afternoon. The 0-2. Up the middle, a base hit, so that breaks his 0 for 19 slide. Leadoff runner on for the Royals.
And we talked about leadoff runners with Kuroda and having problems with not allowing them to score when the leadoff runner gets on, and kind of hung a slider there to Infante, kind of gave into him.
So here's Eric Hosmer, who hit a ball sharply in the first inning, but right at Roberts to start a 4-6-3 double play.
Kuroda's last start, which was so encouraging to the Yankees, he was down with everything, from the knees down with splitters and sliders. So far today, a little bit up.
And a strike to Hosmer.
Such a fine line for pitchers, Michael. You know, you say, well, such an easy formula, just pitch down, get the ball down. But when you're trying to throw strikes and then you're trying to throw pitches that just miss the strike zone, sometimes that adjustment is a little more difficult than you think. Good job by Kuroda and McCann there to try to pitch into Hosmer, keep him honest in. One of the keys for Kuroda is keeping the hitters honest on the inside corner so that that splitter can be utilized. Everybody in the league knows about Kuroda's splitter, that he gets it down and he gets a lot of ground balls. The fastball in is what keeps him honest.
The 3-1 pitch. Foul back to the screen, 3-2.
You know, Michael, when I pitched, I always thought about counts. You know, generally right here, a 3-2 count. I really thought that was the only even count in the whole sequence. One pitch, which is do or die for the hitter. You walk up or you get him out. A 2-2 count, the pitcher still has 2 pitches to work with. Pitcher has 4 balls to work with. The hitter's got 3 strikes to work with. This is only really the true even count, the 3-2 count. The do or die count for both pitcher and hitter.
It's interesting because so many times I myself say evened up at 2-2, but it's really not even.
It's not even the way I pitch in the pitcher's mind, because I still have 2 pitches to work with. It's 4 balls against 3 strikes. With 2 strikes, the hitter's just got 1 strike left. Used to see Greg Maddux, the Hall of Famer, throw a per-purpose ball on 2-2 just to get the 3-2 to throw a changeup.
Swung on and missed. Throw to second. It's a strike him out, throw him out, double play.
Well, right back to the splitter, and a good one from Kuroda. Battled his way back into that count. Got the strikeout, and McCann, an excellent delivery on a low splitter. But think about it, Michael. 0-0 is an even count. Not really. The pitcher's got 4 balls. The hitter's got 3. 1-1, same difference. Traditionally called even counts. 2-2, 1-1 are even counts. Not in my mind. Pitcher still has the advantage.
I'm not going to say it anymore then. That's it. You have now taught me today. I'm never going to say evened up. That makes sense. The 1-0. Count is even at 1-1.
Oh, it ain't. I think a lot of veteran pitchers understand that concept, that on a 2-2 pitch, you've still got a pitch to work with here. You know, and the good ones will know that I have confidence to come back if I throw a ball on 2-2, on a 3-2 count, to still make an off-speed pitch or to still throw a pitcher's pitch.
Why do you think it's such a stark difference, though, between 1-2 and 2-1? I mean, a hitter's batting average is so much higher at 2-1 than they are 1-2.
Well, I think against the really good pitchers, they can battle back from that 2-1 count. You know, obviously with a 1-2 count, it's just 1 strike, and the pitcher has 3 chances to get him out before he gets to 4 balls.
Swing and a miss. Butler down on strikes. Nice recovery for Kuroda. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We're going to the 4th inning here at Kauffman Stadium. It's 2-0 Royals. Free help today. On this date, David, in 1986, you made your Major League debut with the Royals in relief of what Cy Young Award-winning pitcher? You know this, right? So
yes.
You can't play.
No, I cannot play. I have to recuse myself from this question.
Does it seem that long ago? Or does it seem like it was yesterday?
In my mind, it's yesterday. In my body, it wasn't long ago. But what a great moment. I still remember running in from the bullpen in relief of that Cy Young Award-winning pitcher and feeling like I was running underwater. Just the nerves, the feeling, my parents in the stands. It's a moment you'll never forget.
Now, David, how about this for arrogance? Meredith Morakovitz is sitting between us right now, and she just wrote down as you were talking, I was not quite 3 on that date. Amazing, right?
Yes. Thanks for the reminder.
One day you'll get old, Meredith. The 0-1.
Put it this way, you know, I was just coming off of a mullet hairstyle back in the early 80s, which I was really proud of. Used to put my hat on and blow dry the back of my hair, Michael, when I was in Double-A, just to make that mullet kind of a little more bushy. Thought that was a great look. I really did. One of those, when you look at those old pictures, you just cringe.
And Ichiro is down looking. Yeah, is that the that's post mullet, right?
Yeah, that's just post mullet.
Oh, what must be going through that mind right there?
That's a stunned individual right there, no doubt.
Lincoln scoreboard, it's 2-0 Royals, as Shields has struck out the last 3 Yankees, McCann, Solarte, and now Ichiro. Brian Roberts takes inside.
You must have had some hair back in the day, Michael. What was your worst hairstyle?
Right now. I had the hair part in the middle, that look.
Yeah.
Never had a mullet, though. I'm not sure Dad would have been too keen on it. I'm sure Ed wasn't too keen on it.
Definitely not. I had to wait till I got in the minor leagues away from home to do it. Blow dryers in the clubhouse. We can thank Joe Pepitone for that one.
Roberts walked in the 2nd inning. Count 2-2. Top of the 4th inning. Royals 2, Yankees nothing. Yankees have certainly had their opportunities against Shields. You worry, did you let Shields straighten himself out? Sometimes that happens with veteran pitchers. But Roberts hits one inside first and down the right field line. The ball boy touches the ball, and he should not have. Oblivious to the fact that it was fair.
Just found out the truth. Uh-oh. Wow, he made a nice play. He actually gave the ball away in the stands before he knew what was going on. And now reality sets in. I feel bad for the kid. I think Roberts would have easily had a double anyway. Oh,
what he is thinking right now. That'll bring up Kelly Johnson. Kelly came out with the bases loaded, nobody out in the 2nd, and Shields struck him out. Oh, 0-1. Oh, and 2. His changeup's working today, David.
definitely much better today. Down in the zone. Similar to Kuroda splitter. When you see those swings and misses on balls over the plate, down. That's a good sign.
That's what he got McCann on in the 3rd inning.
Another good one right there for an 0-2 pitch. And what makes it so effective, Michael, is they're right over the center of home plate. They look like a cookie coming in, like a fastball right down the middle. And then they dive. You see, this is right over the heart of home plate. Perfect finish pitch with 0-2, and a good job by Johnson to hold up.
Just missed outside.
This is not an even count, Michael, at 2-2. Shields has 2 pitches to work with. Johnson just 1.
The 2-2.
I can't tell you how many times in this situation right here, a 2-2 count, that I saw the great Greg Maddux purposely throw a ball here, maybe in off the plate to get to the 3-2 count so that he could throw a changeup on 3-2 to take advantage of the aggressiveness of the hitter.
And Johnson down on strikes.
Well, you're right, Michael. It's another good changeup from James Shields, and he's made the adjustments to get that pitch where he needs to. And Johnson, once again, reading fastball and getting the changeup.
Well, any solace you could take is that he's got 77 pitches here in the 4th inning. But getting into that Royals bullpen is certainly not a victory sometimes. They got some arms out there. Here's Brett Gardner. Gardner's 1 for 2. Singled in the first, fielder's choice in the second. Pitch is high.
How James Shields got his nickname, Big Game James, because he really tightens it up when he gets into trouble. We saw it with the bases loaded and nobody out, and he just does not give in. Pitches the game differently when he's in trouble.
That was different.
Yeah, the old wheel and deal and spike it into the ground. I think he was anticipating maybe a play where the shortstop would be there, and when he turned to throw, Escobar was right there. Lucky that didn't get to the outfield.
One and one.
There's always a little sign between the pitcher and a middle infielder, maybe a little tug of the glove to put on a pickoff play.
Ground ball to second. Infante over to Hosmer, and that'll do it. The double is wasted. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's 2-0 Royals. State Smokers Quit Line quiz question. On this date in 1986, David Cone made his major league debut with the Royals in relief of what Cy Young Award-winning pitcher? David, why don't you tell us?
That would be the great Brett Saberhagen, one of the best Royals pitchers of all time. Who could forget him in the '85 World Series as the MVP, as his first son was born during that World Series.
And those are your numbers from that day. 1 inning, 3 hits, 1 run. First batter was who? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was Greg Gagne, who was a shortstop for the Minnesota Twins at that point, and faced Kirby Puckett in that series too, in that particular first at bat. That was a little scary. Kirby Puckett was a little intimidating back in those days.
And what'd you do with Gagne, the first batter?
Gagne actually got a base hit.
Uh-huh.
And then he got the second, and then I ended up I think he got pushed over to third with one out. Kirby Puckett hit a smash to shortstop that scored the run. So he got to third base with less than 2 outs.
Was it like an out-of-body experience?
It was, and then it got serious in a hurry when I got in trouble. You give up 3 hits in 1 inning, you're like, uh-oh. At that point in your career, you're worried about getting sent back to AAA if you have a bad game. I mean, you're in a precarious position as the last pitcher on the staff. You're always worried about getting sent out.
Lincoln scoreboard, 2-0 Royals. Gordon takes low. Now, after the game, did you go back to your childhood home, or did you have a place when you got called up?
No, I actually did. I went back and stayed with Mom and Dad.
Yeah, in your boyhood bedroom?
Yeah, I did, absolutely.
Wow. Pretty cool.
Had no place to stay, had no money.
Right.
I was driving an old beat-up Ford Granada, dirt brown Ford Granada with 4 on the floor, a shift. I gave Bo Jackson, who was a teammate of mine that year, the great Bo Jackson, a ride home one day. And he got all over me about that car, Michael. Told me to trade it in on a bike. But watching Bo Jackson play that year in 1986, what a fantastic athlete he was. And a great teammate, really a funny guy.
Where is that Granada now?
I gave it to my brother. I think he's still driving it.
2-2 to Gordon. Outside, 3-2. And a walk to Alex Gordon. There's some Bo.
I mean, you can't imagine how far that ball went, Michael. That was one of the longest home runs ever hit here at at Royal Stadium, rather. Tremendous power. It would have hit the scoreboard in the fly. It was just to the left of the big scoreboard here. All the way up top. Some fans up top would have caught that home run that you just saw Bo Jackson hit. And nobody goes up that far.
They said it was 475 feet off of Mike Moore. Wow.
It was unbelievable.
Here's Salvador Perez. And a strike. 54 pitches for Kuroda, so he's in good shape pitch count-wise.
Another big leaguer on that Royals team in 1986, the late, great Paul Splittorff, who actually took me out and bought me my first suit, like a navy blue blazer. I had no clothes. Wow. Had to go on a team charter, so he took me out. The late, great, what a great guy, Paul Splittorff. Actually, his family's sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat here today. The family of the great Paul Splittorff.
Well, you hear those stories about veterans, and those veterans are never forgotten when they do something like that for a rookie. I'm sure you paid it forward as well.
Absolutely, I did. And guys like Dan Quisenberry, Paul Splittorff, just tremendous to the rookies. Really took us under their wing, showed us how to act in the big leagues, the etiquette of the big leagues.
One. Grounded to short. Jeter gets the force at second. On to first. It's a double play. Perez does not have much speed to be doubled up on that one. 6-4-3.
Most definitely good pitch from Kuroda. Got the ground ball you wanted. And the right runner running. As Michael said, catcher's legs by a step. Good sinker down. Just what the doctor ordered.
Here's Lorenzo Cain. There's a strike. Right back to Kuroda. Takes a base hit away from Kane. Oh, quick reaction. He wasn't in danger, but it was going to be a single for sure. A hot shot up the middle, and Kuroda sticks his arm up and right into the pocket of the glove to end the inning. That was a big day at Rogers Center. It was Jose Reyes bobblehead, so they had a huge crowd waiting outside before the game. But boy, those Cardinal pitchers are tough.
Yes, they are. I mean, good young arms, one after another. They've got more in their pipeline on the way, and the Cardinals do it just as well as anybody ever has, developing young pitchers.
All right, for the Yankees, Derek Jeter is going to lead off. You think how life would have been different. Art Stewart, who is the senior advisor to the general manager here with the Royals and has known David since David was a kid when he was drafted, came up and told the story that the Royals were all set to select Jeter in the draft. The year the Yankees took him with the 6th pick, the Royals had the 9th. And they didn't think the Yankees were going to take him. And if he had gone to 9th, they were going to take him. And how would Derek's life be different? How would the Royals' life be different? And there's Art. Royals ended up taking Michael Tucker, an outfielder. So many ways that could have gone for Derek in that year.
Yeah, he said they had a scout on Jeter all the way back to his sophomore year in high school and were ready to draft him then.
And he said one of the few times in history that the Yankees actually had a higher draft pick than the Royals, and that's the year they snagged Jeter and took him away from the Royals. Royals had every intention to take him. Everyone thought the Astros were going to take him, but they didn't. They took Phil Nevin, who they thought was more major league ready at the time. Nevin had a nice career, but he didn't have the career of Derek Jeter. Grounded to third, backing up Moustakas. Jeter hustling down the line, but does not beat the throw. Let's hear Derek talking about being drafted by the Yankees.
I was supposed to go, I think, 1st or 5th was what people had projected. And I got a phone call from one of the local reporters saying, have you heard anything? Because the first 5 picks had been announced. And, you know, I was devastated. I had no idea the Yankees even selected 6th because of all the talk going into the draft. So then shortly thereafter, I got a call and saying that the Yankees had selected me.
And the rest, they say, is history. Now I'm going to make you feel a little old today, David. Yesterday, the Yankees completed their draft, and there's a 92 draft. And with one of their last picks, they took the son of Mariano Rivera, who was running around as a baby in the clubhouse in 96. Pretty amazing stuff. He's a junior in Iona, Mariano Rivera Jr. He's a right-handed starter. Last year, they took Andy Pettit's son, and he decided to go to college. Mariano's kid could go back to Iona for the senior year, but we'll see. He said he was elated that the Yankees took him. And there is a grab by Escobar to take another base hit away from Ellsbury. Boy, Escobar can pick it.
Well, if there's a shortstop in the major leagues with more range than this guy playing here for the Royals, I'd like to see him. Makes that play look easy. That had base hit written all over it.
And there's a Yesmo shot, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
I'd say the shortstop in Atlanta is pretty good, too, on the National League side.
Andrelton Simmons.
Yes, he is fantastic as well. Escobar, probably the best in the American League.
The 0-2. Strike three. Beltran down looking. So the Yankees go down in order. 1, 2, 3. We're halfway through. Royals up by 2. Fans, you can now tweet at Yes Network your best fan photo using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during the game. Brought to you by AT&T. Reggie had some great moments against the Royals, and one of the Game 5s, he was actually benched by Billy Martin. I believe it was in 1977. And he came off the bench. Whitey Herzog had brought Dennis Leonard in to relieve. And he came off the bench to get a single. And started the rally that obviously got the Yankees to the World Series. And the pitch to Moustakas is a strike. So many of those playoff games, Yankees and the Royals have so many unbelievable memories. Baseball was like crackling and alive, and the Yankees were re-emerging as a power. George Steinbrenner bought the team in '73, made quick moves, and all of a sudden, '76, they're in the World Series. They get swept by the Reds, and it seems like the Yankees, Royals every single year in the ALCS, and they were all magical series.
Hardball style.
I mean, for you younger fans, Hal McRae would go into second base as if he was tackling somebody behind the line of scrimmage, the way he would take out Willie Randolph on a double, which they have since outlawed.
That's probably the reason. That series, all those tremendous hard-played series, changed the rules of the game, or led to the changing of the guard. Go to Google and see if you can find Hal McRae's roadblock of Willie Randolph at second base in the late circa 1977-ish.
And they were two teams that did not like each other, and they played hard and sometimes borderline dirty. Foul ball. And the ball boy wants no part of that. Didn't even move. He wanted to make sure. Now you're just not doing your job, kid.
Little gun shy.
You think he'll move the rest of the year, David?
I tell you what, he's paying attention. Look at, he almost hiding underneath the tarp. Don't got to tell me twice.
And that one is knocked down by Kelly Johnson. Flips to Kuroda for the first out. Now, they had some brawls in the Yankee World Series. So this one's over the head of Mickey Rivers. And then you have Brett and Nettles, who did not like each other, and that's a real brawl.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, they're going at it. Haymakers are being thrown, and neither one of them gets kicked out of the game here. Shows you the difference in the game nowadays. They just separated them, and okay, this is a big game. This is the playoffs.
Wow.
And they let them both stay in the game.
That was Game 5, 77. Wow. Here's Escobar. I mean, you can see in that play, Brett slides and then kind of pushes Nettles, and Nettles just kicks him in the face, and then they start swinging. Yeah, they didn't like each other, particularly those two. Chop the third, Solarde. And we actually have a Yankeeography that we're working on the Chambliss home run. Watch, he pushes him, and then Nettles just kicks him. And then Brett says, oh, yeah?
Coming up swinging.
Wow. Look at Guidry right in the middle. And Munson and Chambliss. And Mike Ferraro. Gene Monahan was in the middle of it. Great memories. Great games, great series. Is Aoki, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. Count 1-0. Did you ever get to go to those games, or you were watching on TV back then?
No, I got to go to a couple of them. I'd sit in general admission down by the foul poles, which were the cheapest seats.
The playoff games?
A couple of the playoff
Really?
games even, yes. Had to skip school for a couple of them. Call the principal from a payphone and act like my dad. Get out of school and go to the game.
Somewhere the future David Cohn is out there.
You know, we used to get on Reggie when he was in right field. You know, we saw Reggie Jackson here at the game. Boy, he would love it. You'd yell at Reggie, anything you want. He'd turn around, smile, and give it back. Reggie knew he was a star. He knew how to live up to the billing.
Isn't it Reggie who said they don't boo nobodies?
That's right. We'll have to check Twitter in between innings, Michael, to see if anybody found that roll block on Google of Hal McRae and Willie Randolph.
3-2. Grounded to second. Roberts over to Johnson. A nice 1-2-3 inning for Hiroki Kuroda as the Royals go down in order. We go to the 6th, 2-0 KC. The Yankees and the Royals square off under the lights. Coverage will start at 7 with Audi batting practice today in the Tri-State Ford pregame. Again, it's only on Yes. It's been overcast all day, but the rain is held up as we go to the 6th inning. 2-0 Royals, the only scoring coming in the 2nd inning by the Royals. And all with 2 outs. Single by Perez, double by Kane, single by Moustakas, infield single by Escobar. And it was 2-0 Royals. Yankees have 5 hits, but they have not gotten the big ones. So here's Brian McCann with nobody on. They do shift 3 infielders on the right side. Nobody standing on the left side. Escobar's kind of shaded to the shortstop side of second. Fouled away.
Interesting, different situation here leading off, obviously. Last time, man on third and 1 out, no shift. Same hitter.
That one's popped up. Escobar makes the play for the first out. Here's Jan Hervis Solarde. Count 1-0. Solarde started a rally in the 2nd that didn't result in a run. Yankees had the bases loaded. Nobody out in the 2nd, couldn't push a run across. And then he ended a rally in the 3rd. Ellsbury on 3rd with 2 men out, and Solarde struck out on a pitch that he thought was too far inside. One and one.
Certain innings that set the tone for the entire game, as Michael mentioned, that Houdiniac by Shields in the 2nd. Bases loaded, nobody out. Came out of it unscathed to key to the ball game so far.
Chop inside first and down the right field line. Aoki plays it out there. The throw to second. Solarde is in there with a double. Escobar playing it very cool at second, trying to deke Solarde into thinking the ball was not coming, but he still went in there hard to get the double.
Well, good job by Solarde. Busted it out of the box, never hesitating. Does not get a break here. As the ricochet goes right to the right fielder, and there's what Michael's talking about. Escobar just playing it cool. No, there's no play. There's no play. Oh, yes, there's going to be a play, but not in time.
98 pitches for Shields. His high pitch count for the year is 118. He did that May 7th at San Diego, an 8-0 win for him. So runner at second base. And here's Ichiro. Yankees 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position.
Well, one thing that double from Solarde does to Shields is it's going to push his pitch count up. He's got to be much more careful now. Already at the 100 pitch mark here in the 6th with 1 out.
And that one goes off the glove of Perez. And here comes Solarde. He'll stop, though. The ball rolls into the Yankee dugout. So they will hold Solarde at third on the wild pitch. I don't know if it's a pass ball or a wild pitch. We'll wait.
It's a cross-up off the web of the catcher's mitt and the mask of the umpire.
Now, they scored a pass ball, and if it's a cross-up, that's really not fair. I guess I'll have to ask later. But right now, it scored a pass ball.
We'll have to ask after the game what happened. You hear the grunt came from the umpire. But Perez went up to get it and didn't go high enough.
Infield is back, the 3-0. There's a strike. So they will give up a run. All you need is a ground ball here to get a run. And Ichiro has a type of back control that he can do that. That's what he did. Solarde will score. Ichiro is out, but he picks up an RBI. Yankees on the board. 2-1 KC.
Well, Ichiro obviously identifying the situation, and maybe the best hitter that I've ever seen, Michael, that can actually hit it where he's trying to hit it. Generally, hitters are in the job of production, not direction. But Ichiro can play that direction game with his bat better than anybody I've ever seen. And knowing a ground ball to shortstop would work, that's what he produced.
There's a strike to Roberts. So the Yankees have out-hit the Royals 6-5. The Royals have outscored them 2-1, but we're in the top of the 6th inning. 2 outs, nobody on for Brian Roberts.
I think other hitters I would put in that category, Michael, is Ichiro, Tony Gwynn, and Wade Boggs, who had that kind of bat control where they really could almost control the direction of the ball off the bat. Most hitters just trying to produce hard contact. See it, hit it on the barrel, take your chances.
And the guys you mentioned, they're really unshiftable. You shift against them, they'll hit it to the vacated hole. The 1-2. 2-2. But Ken Singleton has pointed out that we're in an era now where the players that are playing watched all the home runs, and that's what they grew up doing. Just trying to turn and drive the ball. So they don't have that back control, most of them. The 2-2. 3-2. The old whale and bail.
That's how you get on the highlights, sports highlights at night.
Back to the screen.
Be the 110th pitch coming. Royals have a lot of confidence in their bullpen, so might be Shields' last pitch.
Swing and a miss. Roberts down on strikes. But the Yankees get a run. 1 run on 1 hit. Nobody left on base. We're going to go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Royals 2. Yankees 1. Relax, feeling better about life today. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Yankees.com for details. Big day at the Belmont yesterday, but another missed chance to win the Triple Crown by California Chrome. Finished 4th. Here's Omar Infante.
Out of the money, right?
Yep. And finished 4th, tied by with another horse. And Tonalist won the race. And there was something that was there. Bob Costas had told me that the last 3 Triple Crown winners in 73, 77, and 78, that year there was a major professional sports championship between a New York and an LA team. In 73, Knicks and Lakers. 77 and 78, Yankees and the Dodgers. So you've got the Kings and the Rangers, and you thought maybe, but it didn't happen as Omar Infante goes down.
Kuroda coming in with that 2-seam fastball, gets under it a little bit. You see the movement, riding up and in. Just a little chin music for you. Good job by Infante getting out of the way, although that wasn't inside enough, I think, to get him, but close enough to get your attention and make you bail.
The 2-1. Sounds like a broken back ground ball to Solarte. Stays with the tough hop and gets Infante for the first out of the 6.
good job by McCann and Kuroda there. You know, Mike, I was talking to Tony Pena before the game, the Yankees coach, and he said, 85% of the time after a pitcher throws a fastball in, it's going to be a breaking ball. And they double up there after Infante's got to be thinking, okay, here comes the slider. Two-seamer right on the inside corner, breaks his bat, doubling up with a fastball.
Hosmer with a ground ball to second. Roberts with a second out.
And it really makes sense, Michael. Flash talks about it. Al Leiter talks about it. The ability to pitch inside. It's not just the ability to pitch inside. It's the ability to throw strikes inside. Anybody can throw a fastball inside off the plate, like the first one there to Infante. But can you come right back and get the inside corner? And that sets up everything else. All of your off-speed pitches are therefore protected because of the threat to throw strikes on the inside corner. That's what keeps the hitters honest. Tony Pena really preaches that. He and McCann talk about it. He and Murphy talk about it. Doubling up with your fastball on the inside corner.
Strike to Billy Butler. Butler's 0 for 2 against Kuroda. Grounded to second and struck out.
Watching Mark Burley, the Toronto hurler, pitch this year, having a career year. Doesn't throw the ball more than 84, 85 miles an hour, but you see him pitch inside more than anybody. Inside off the plate, back inside for a strike, and then all of his off-speed pitches are much more effective.
Another broken bat, fly ball shallow center. Coming in is Ellsbury, and a 1-2-3 inning for Kuroda. He's retired the last 8 batters in a row. We go to the 7th inning. Yankees down by 1. And Ned Yost, because of a pitch count, has to make the Verizon call to the bullpen. Shields threw too many pitches through 6, and now they turn to Aaron Crow here in the 7th.
And another good one for the Royals. He's having a good year. The walks to strikeouts not optimal, but the rest of the numbers are pretty good.
It'll be 9-1-2 in the Yankee order against Crow, starting with Kelly Johnson, who struck out twice against Shields. Johnson, Gardner, and Jeter. Cadillac scoreboard 2-1. KC leads. 1-0. Down 1-1. Crow working from the stretch. 1-2 to Johnson. Line drive right at Infante. One away. Fourth and final game of this series is tomorrow night here at the K. Tomorrow's starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios, making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet. That's powerful. Jason Vargas having a good year for the Royals. Will go up against Vidal Nuno for the Yankees. Our coverage begins at 7. That's what the batting practice show. 7:30 is the pregame, and I'd say 8:07 would be first pitch, maybe 8:08. Final game of the 4-game set.
Yeah, Jason Vargas has been the best of the Royals starters so far this year.
Brett Gardner 1 for 3, single to lead off the game. Fouls it away, 0-1.
Ned Yost feels pretty good. He's got it all lined up. Aaron Crow has kind of been their 7th inning guy, and Wade Davis, their 8th inning guy, and then Greg Holland, a power closer, having a good year as well. So he's got things lined up in a 1-run ball game.
Wade Davis.
Relief pitchers love to know their role and know when they have to get ready. Mariano Rivera certainly knew his role for years, and Derek Jeter used to joke about Mariano. He'd get a massage for the first 5 innings and then wander down to the bullpen, do his arm exercises about the 7th or 8th. Knew exactly when he would be needed.
You know, David, we talked about Mariano's son being drafted by the Yankees. We should also mention that Ricky Negron, a second baseman at Tallahassee College, was drafted by the San Diego Padres, and Ricky is Ray Negron's son. Ray Negron was actually kind of rescued by George Steinbrenner. George caught him graffitiing the outside of Yankee Stadium, took him by the nape of the neck and said, you know what? You're going to come work for me. That one's drilled deep to right center. It's over the head of Kane, and Gardner is going for 3. He is in there with a triple. Backing up nicely is Aaron Crow. So a triple over the head of Kane by Gardner.
Well, another good swing by Gardner, driving this off-speed curveball well over Kane's head. Kane plays a shallow center field along with Gordon in left, and once this gets over his head, Gardner's got too much speed. Love to watch Gardner run the bases. I mean, he sees it all the way. There's no hesitation, and right about here, here's the afterburners. Cuts the corner beautifully. Down below the throw. And Aaron Crow, the pitcher, right where he needed to be, because if that ball gets in the dugout, that's a run.
All right, so the Royals are going to bring their infield in for Derek Jeter.
I think Brett Gardner cuts the bases just about as well as anybody, Michael. Watching him hitting a triple, maybe the most exciting play in baseball is the triple. And you see some guys that swing a little too wide, some guys that cut it off too much at a right angle. Brett Gardner cuts the bags as well as anybody.
Soft ground ball to Escobar. Gardner cannot score as Jeter grounds out. Yankees now 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position. With that ground ball, Derek's now 0 for 4 today. meeting on the mound. I also wanted to finish the point about Ricky Negron. I know that Hank Steinbrenner takes a lot of pride in that. Hank has a youth team that he sponsors in the city called Hank's Yanks, and Ricky Negron actually played for them. So to see one of the kids from that group drafted, I'm sure that makes him very proud as well. And Ray Negron's been a Yankee employee for about 41 years since George dragged him off the street and made him a bat boy.
It is a remarkable story, and see Ray Negron around the stadium all the time. And Hank's Yanks are the real deal. I mean, those guys are good players. It's a good program, good team. Great work by Hank Steinbrenner, because that's making a difference, and that's really competitive baseball that team plays.
All right, so the infield backs up. They've had their meeting on the mound. Here comes Jacoby Ellsbury, who is 1 for 3.
I think the Royals outfield, the combination of Kane and Gordon, excellent outfielders, but probably play the most shallow tandem that I've seen here in a big ballpark. Combination of these two guys at this angle here, both of them looking to cut out humpback line drives, stealing hits that would normally fall in front of them, and then having the speed to go over their head and still get back.
And that's a little unusual too, David, because Ellsbury has really good power. He can hit a ball over their head, but they're playing the odds that he's probably going to hit a ball in front of them more likely than behind them.
Especially with the big dimensions here. 410 to center field, 385 in the power alleys. 387 rather. This is a big ballpark. Just in case a lefty's needed, Bueno's throwing.
So the count is full of 3-2. Beltran is on deck. Gardner's a tying run. He's at third base. We're in the 7th. It's 2-1 Royals. Foul back on the check.
Looked like it might have got the knob of the bat, and it does. Right off the knob of the bat, missing Ellsbury's hand. Caught a break there.
Payoff. Strike 3. Ellsbury down looking, does not agree with the call. 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Time for the 7th inning stretch. 2-1 Royals. Summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 2-5-0 for the Royals, 1-7-0 for the Yankees. Kuroda's pitched well, Shields pitched well. Kane and Moustakas each have an RBI. Yankees got their run on a ground ball. And that line at the bottom, David, I don't know what you can do with that. 1 for 14, runners in scoring position. And this isn't just a game against the Royals on a Sunday thing. It's been an all-season thing.
Still goes, excuse me, Michael, still goes back to the second inning, the bases loaded, and this one a little bit of help as that one's down and away, borderline at best. Ellsbury gets rung up and can't believe it.
Now let's check out the T-Mobile game changer, David.
Well, without a doubt, as this game unfolds, a one-run game, but this is nobody out. Johnson on the changeup. Brett Gardner to Hosmer, which turns out to be the play of the game, playing deep. Still cuts down the runner at home. And, of course, Shields with 2 outs gets a big strikeout of Derek Jeter on a slider. That is Harry Houdini if you're a pitcher. And that was the ball game so far.
Cadillac scoreboard, 2-1, Royals lead. Kuroda's still out there. He'll face Gordon, Perez, and Kane. And a strike to Gordon. Gordon's 0 for 1 with a walk.
Michael, a pitcher with the bases loaded and nobody out. That, we joke Harry Houdini. It really is like you're underwater with the handcuffs. There's no way you're going to get out of it. He found a way. Got the handcuffs off, got out of the box. James Shields with a full Harry Houdini there in the second inning.
And that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game.
Really did.
When you open it up there, it's a completely different game.
Still time here.
Plenty. Bottom of the 7th, 2-1, so they've got 2 more innings to go. The only thing you worry about is that the back end of their bullpen is dominating. 1-1.
Kuroda really has pitched well today. He gave up 4 straight hits in the second inning. A couple of them were bloops. One of them was a kind of a squibbler off the end of the bat. But he really has continued what he did in his last start. And there's the Royals' 8th inning man.
High drive center field. Ellsbury back. Still back. And he makes the play for the first out. Let's get another update. Go to the studio and Bob Lorenz is there. All right, back here it's 2-1. Royals leading the Yankees.
I guess it turns out Chili Davis is a pretty good hitting coach.
Yeah.
And Bob Melvin's a pretty good manager. Certainly everybody knows about Billy Beane and what he's done out there. A lot of teams were trying to get Chili Davis to be a hitting coach for a long time. Bob Melvin finally talked him into it.
I asked Chili last year, he's so respected. I said, would you ever think about being a manager? He said, I don't know. Who wants the nonsense that goes with it? It's not really teaching as a manager. You got to handle the media and all that. He said, maybe one day. He said, but I like this better. I'm actually teaching.
And teaching very well, obviously. That Oakland team kind of looks like some of those lineups the Yankees had back when he was a Yankee. Getting those type of at-bats, deep at-bats, fouling off pitches, getting walks, hitting homers.
Count 2-2 on Perez. And the pitch. Grounded to short. Jeter gets Perez for the second out. 10 in a row for Kuroda. That'll bring up Low Kane.
And that's his 11th ground ball out on the day. Only 2 fly ball outs and 3 strikeouts. So Kuroda down in the strike zone once again.
Kane doubled in the first run of the game. That was in the second inning. Then a hot shot back to the mound, stabbed by Kuroda for the final out of the fourth. Line drive, caught by Brian Roberts. So Kane's hit it hard the last 2 times up. Nothing to show for it. 11 in a row for Hiroki Kuroda. He works another 1-2-3 inning thanks to the glove of Brian Roberts. We'll go to the 8th. You know, David, just compare what just happened there to the video we showed of the Yankees and the Royals from 1977. It's a little bit different. But, boy, Machado, there seems to be bad blood there.
Yeah, I think it's obvious to read between the lines. They felt like Machado really overreacted on the tag the other day when he was trying to get out of the way of the tag.
New pitcher for the Royals, it's Wade Davis, who's really excelled in this role in the bullpen. Gerard Dyson is the new center fielder. Kane moves to right. Oh, 2 count on Beltran, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. The numbers on Davis, they're pretty good. 44 strikeouts in 27 1/3 innings. 21 base runners in 27 1/3 innings.
It's one of those guys, Michael, you know, when the Royals made the trade, they really saw Davis as a big part of the rotation towards the front end, but he really lost velocity in the starting rotation, really tried to work in more of his secondary pitches, and probably averaged about 92 miles an hour with his fastball. Out of the bullpen, regularly 96 and up.
Line foul.
Similar to Betances, just 2 pitches now for Davis for the most part. Mid to upper 90s and that hard slider.
That's their 8th and 9th. Greg Holland waits in the 9th inning. 37 strikeouts for Holland. 17 saves. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Perez. And Beltran is thrown out at first. So a strikeout, put out 2-3. Yankees have struck out 10 times today. 8 against Shields, 1 against Crow, and 1 against Davis. And for Davis, that was his 500th career strikeout. Here's Brian McCann, 0 for 3 this afternoon. One and 0. Two and 0 on McCann. McCann fly ball to center, strikeout, and a pop to short.
Where McCann should sit dead red if he sees anything middle and end, just to try to turn on it and tie this game up.
So the fastball velocities there, the average fastballs. It seems like everybody on the Royals team can bring the heat.
2-0 off speed pitch from Davis, respecting McCann right there.
Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did, said Jerry Lane.
Well, a real downer slider, and that's right on the borderline, and no argument from McCann.
The 2-2. Strike 3, 97 miles an hour. McCann down looking.
Threading the needle with 97 and a little late movement, running back to the inside corner. Clearly a strike, and McCann concedes. Kind of pitched backwards, threw a lot of off speed early, and finishes with the fastball.
Here's Solarte. He has 2 hits today and has scored the Yankees' only run. 2 for 3, single and a double.
Solarte with 200 at-bats on the season and a 300 batting average. All the talk about is this sustainable? Can we believe what we see with Solarte? Just about every time he seems to regress a little bit, he comes back. Another couple of hits here today.
1-2. Well, 200 at bats. If you're an everyday player, it's about a third of the season. It's hard to say that's a fluke at 300.
Well, 14 doubles and 6 home runs too to go with 28 RBIs. So, and it seems as if his left-handed stroke is quicker and has a little more power than his right-handed stroke.
The 2-2. Foul the bat. 96 miles an hour. Ground ball to second. Infante makes the play as the Yankees go down in order against Wade Davis. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Royals holding on 2-1. Presents the Joe Girardi Show as the skipper recaps the past week, including Carlos Beltran's return to the lineup. Plus, Joe answers your questions. It's a new Joe Girardi Show today after the postgame, only on Yes. Joe's trying to come up with something to get some runs on the board as his Yankees trail 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Adam Warren will take over on the mound for Hiroki Kuroda, who pitched very well. Gave them 7 strong. So Warren will be in his 28th game. Also wanted to bring this up, David. I'm sure that you'll join in. I just got an email from Kay Mercer. Tomorrow is the Mercer Swing for Hope golf outing at Oak Tree Country Club. They're looking forward to a sellout field. It benefits the Oklahoma Brain Tumor Foundation. That's where the proceeds go. So people could look into that. And Kay said she wanted to thank the Yankees, who continue to be great supporters of this event. Bobby is so missed, and obviously in his name and honor, we will take a look at this, and we hope you do as well.
Yeah, well said. Kay Mercer, just such a elegant lady, carrying on the tradition.
And she said Goose is down there to play in the tournament, so that's cool.
Nice.
Here's Mike Moustakas against Warren, and there's a strike. Hyundai scoreboard 2-1 KC. Ground ball to second. Roberts gets Moustakas for the first out. All right, it's time for the replay brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here. And that is Alcides Escobar making some amazing plays. Flashing the leather at shortstop.
He does. That first play from his knees off of Derek Jeter was a highlight reel play. One of the best ones of the year so far from a shortstop.
And here is Escobar. He's 1 for 2. Popped up. Home run and a silo. And Brian Roberts makes the catch. Well, as promised earlier, we had the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to @YesNetwork using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. This is sent to us by Sherry Douglas 1. We thank them for the photo. 2 outs here in the 8th. And that's going to bring up Gerard Dyson. He took over defensively in center, and then Kane moved to right for Aoki. So this is Dyson's first at bat. Grounded to first. Kelly Johnson fields, steps on the bag, and that'll do it. Nice easy 1-2-3 inning for Adam Warren. Can the Yankees rally in the ninth? They're down 2-1. Last out for the WB Mason postgame for highlights, analysis, and a full game breakdown. Plus, you'll get the clubhouse reaction and also Joe Girardi's thoughts on the manager's report. It's all coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame only on Yes. Well, Ned Yost, the manager of the Royals, brings in his closer Greg Holland, which leads us to the Honda League leaders, and it regards saves. And Greg Holland has 17 saves, and that's tied with Fernando Rodney for the most in the American League. Glenn Perkins of the Twins third. David Robertson of the Yankees is fourth. It'll be the bottom third of the order, starting with Ichiro Suzuki against Greg Holland, who throws very hard. And there's a base hit to left field. Ichiro 2 for 4. He's driven in the Yankees' only run. And he starts off the proceedings with a single. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. All right, so David, what do you do here? The old adage is you don't play for a tie on the road, but you got to tie the game before you win it.
Certainly, you need a productive at-bat here from Brian Roberts, and you need to sort of think about getting Ichiro in motion, too.
And that one gets past Perez, so that serves the purpose. Ichiro now in scoring position for the Yankees here in the ninth.
Well, Holland with a fastball right off the top of home plate. Perez with the backhanded pick and a whiff. That changes everything in this inning.
Well, now the Royals are expecting bunt. They are in at the corners for Roberts, both Hosmer and Moustakas. Big cut, foul back, 1-1.
A lot of times managers in this situation will give the hitter one swing and then maybe go to the bunt. It'll be interesting to see how Joe Girardi decides to play this.
Mark Teixeira's come out on deck to pinch hit for Kelly Johnson. Off speed.
This is Holland's slider down and in. See how much he falls off the rubber. Kind of a not quite Goose Gossage style. He doesn't have the arms and legs, but kind of that fall off delivery. He really comes spinning off that mound. Right over the top with his fastball.
Rip foul.
This is sort of a style that Holland features that you don't really teach to the little leaguers. It works for him, but if you watch and he comes at the plate, he really flies open, falls off to the left, just about as much as anybody in the big leagues.
That accomplishes nothing, does not get Ichiro over to third, as Gordon makes the play for the first out. They wanted Roberts to pull the ball. Easier said than done, a guy throwing gas like that, but a pop-up to the left side really kind of useless on that play. So here's Mark Teixeira to pinch hit for Kelly Johnson, who was 0 for 3 today. Joe gave him off today as a maintenance day, but here he is in a big spot in the 9th inning. There's a strike.
You look at Holland's style. I mean, he really lands open. Flies open so he can get right over the top. His fastball's pretty straight but hard. But that's an open delivery and a fly open type style that I haven't seen in a long time.
.97 miles an hour.
This is sort of the opposite of Mariano Rivera's delivery. Yankee fans, if you remember how closed Mariano stayed his entire delivery, this is the opposite. I'm flying open, I'm getting on top of it, and I'm throwing it as hard as I can.
One and two. Well, there's a number while you're down 2-1, 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. They need to put a 2 in that first column.
You know, the choice Joe Girardi had was either you take 3 shots at scoring Ichiro from second or trying to bunt Roberts.
1-2. Grounded to first. Hosmer flips to Holland, and that moves Ichiro over to third. But now with 2 outs. And that'll leave it up to Brett Gardner.
And that particular ground ball would not have worked had Ichiro been on third with a bunt. And just to be clear, even though I'm not really ahead of the curve here, I agree with that strategy. I like 3 shots at driving in a guy from second as opposed to giving up an out to bunt Ichiro to third, and then you only have 2 shots to drive him in. It's debatable, old school, new school, whether you believe in bunts or not. A little different scenario in the 9th inning late.
Well, here's Gardner. Gardner is 2 for 4, a single and a triple. Hosmer is deep at first, but it's tough to bunt Holland, and there are 2 outs. Holland deals. Goes with a breaking ball strike. Mm. 97 miles an hour. Derek Jeter's on deck. 2-1.
Gardner just continues to get good at bats. A really good take there.
The 2-1 pitch. Strike on the outside corner, 2-2. Yankees down to their final strike. DeMuro has had a generous strike zone all afternoon, both inside and outside.
Without a doubt. In other words, a lot of the borderline pitches on both sides have generally gone the way of the pitcher.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on third, pitch. Foul back. 98 miles an hour.
Straight and hard. You can see the fly open style of Holland. I mean, he lands well open and just clears that front side, and so he can get his arm right on top and throw it as hard as he can. His breaking ball goes straight down.
And the 2-2. Went off speed. A little bit too high, and the count is 3-2.
Very unconventional and unorthodox style from Holland. And Gardner with a good at-bat here. The only true even count, Michael. 3-2. Do or die. Pitcher hitter.
And it is the payoff right here. Ichiro's at third, 90 feet away from tying the game. It's a nail-biter here at Kauffman Stadium. A long set. Time is called. Trying to pick up his 18th save, move ahead of Rodney for the American League lead. Yankees trying to tie this game. And the 3-2 stays alive. Along with David Cohn, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for watching Yankees baseball on Yes, and we thank you for spending part of your Sunday afternoon with us. We're in the top of the 9th inning. Royals 2, Yankees 1. Yankees have had several opportunities, but they are 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position. Runner at third base now here in the 9th with 2 outs, and a 3-2 count on Gardner. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Gardner hustles to first. Perez makes the throw, and the ball game is over. Yankees end up 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position, and they lose a tough one, 2-1, wasting a very good performance by Kuroda.
Yes, Kuroda was outstanding again. A lot of ground ball outs. His stuff was good. He gave up 4 straight hits in the second. A couple of them a little unfortunate or unlucky, but otherwise really should have deserved another fade. It's kind of the story of Kuroda's career. You know, a well-pitched game and no run support.
And that's been the story of this season so far. The Yankees have not been able to play to the back of their baseball cards when it comes to runs. We'll throw it to Bob Lorenz. He'll set the table for the rest of the day.